Hello, welcome back to my channel. I haven't seen you in a while. Hi, how are you? How you been? It's been a while. It's been a minute. I lately, or for the past few months, have gone through a lot of personal things that I don't feel ready to talk about yet, maybe on the internet. So I'll definitely make a video about it later on once I have kind of figured it out myself on how I feel and how to express my feelings. But as for today, I wanted to do something that made me happy, which is talk about books. So hi, my name is Jessica, and if you like to hang out and talk about books, then you should definitely subscribe, because I definitely do want to start making more book videos. I miss doing that. I miss talking to you guys about books, to somebody about books, because you feel me? That was all lopsided, my bad. It really bothers me when this is all sideways, side tangent. I'm watching Love Island, and there's this one girl, I'm not gonna say the name, but she always has her septum like this, and it bothers me. Okay, moving on. So I just wanted to talk about a few books. I have set my goal for the year of 2024 to 12 books a year. So that's one book a month, which I feel like is very doable. And I have been crushing it. I am right on the mark. I'm literally 6 books in, I'm almost 7 books. But I'm doing good. I'm doing great. But I wanted to go over the books that I've read this year so far and just talk to you guys about my ratings and why I rated it that. Only gonna really see 3 and above stars because I've been a very big DNFer this year. I had a baby, as you guys saw. If you guys want to go back and watch my Vlogmas, I vlogged because that was my last month of maternity leave, so I vlogged it all, and I was like, I'm home, why not? I got lonely, and I was like, let me talk to a camera, let me talk to myself, let me talk to you guys, you feel me? So you can go watch that. But I did have a baby, so I'm super busy, and just a lot of life things have been going on. Just, life likes to throw a bunch of crap at you all at once and just, break you mentally. So I have been DNFing books. If I'm a couple chapters in and I'm like, this is not my vibe, this is not what I'm feeling, I do not push myself to finish the book, which I used to do. But I do not have the time to read books that I'm just not vibing with. And maybe I'm not vibing right now, and maybe I'll vibe later, and maybe I'll pick it up again. But that is something that I have been big on, because I just don't want to waste my time. You feel me? Why read something that I'm not enjoying if I don't have a lot of time to read anymore? Obviously, all of the books that I'm going to talk about, I enjoyed, but obviously there were some that I enjoyed more than others. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is called Like a Sister. It's by, I believe, Kelly Garrett. I think that's her. Also, I'm in the car, so I don't have none of the books with me, so I'll pop them up somewhere. I'm waiting in line for something. Anyways, not the point. Like a Sister, it's about a sister who has an influencer sister who passes away from an overdose. The sister, the one that passed away, has overdosed on methamphetamines, and it looks like she has injected it. So the sister that is alive is very skeptical. She's like, I don't think my sister would have ever taken that. First of all, she is also an influencer, and she's very vain. She would not want track marks to be seen. She takes pictures in bikinis, she goes out to parties, and the track marks were found on her leg. So she's like, there's absolutely no way. So she starts investigating her sister's murder, and obviously it's like a mystery type, a murder mystery. The book was good. It started off great. I was like really vibing, but then towards like the middle end to it, when you get to a point where you're just like, okay, get on with it, there were some parts that just felt a little bit dragged on, and that's why I gave it a 3 stars. Still a great read, but it stopped being exciting to pick up. It was more like, okay, like I do want to know what happens, but like I wasn't getting that excited feeling to pick up this book. That's the reason that I gave it 3 stars. The story was great. If you guys want it, I do recommend it. It is a good mystery story if you guys are into it. Next book is a true crime book. It's called If You Tell. It has like a bigger title. It's like If You Tell, and then it has a colon, and then it has like the story of sisters and love and family secrets, things like that. I don't know, I don't remember, but I'll pop it up here and you'll see the title. But it's basically a true story. It's kind of like reading a documentary. That's the vibe I felt, and I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I was like super hooked and super into it. It's highly, highly, highly disturbing. There's a lot of child abuse. Like the whole thing is child abuse. And it like, honestly, it made me sick a lot of the time, but I really liked reading the book. There was a moment where I was like, I don't know how, like, I literally finished the book and I didn't want to rate it yet because I kind of wanted to sit on it. So I waited on it a few days, almost a week, before I actually rated it 3 stars. And even in that week, I was like, I still don't know what rating I really want to give this book, because there was a lot of very repetitive things going on. Like horrific things were going on with these children, and it was just kind of like very repetitive with like the abuse that was described. Like, it's okay if you're describing the abuse to let me know what's going on, but like after the second or third or fourth time you describing this horrible thing, like I started to skim over things. So I feel like it was slightly unnecessarily long, because there was a lot of extra explanation that was done, but overall I think it was told really well. So a lot of trigger warnings for this book if you want to pick it up, if you like kind of like feeling a little tiny bit disturbed. I said tiny bit. If you like feeling disturbed by a book, and you like true crime, I definitely recommend this one if you're into that kind of stuff, but definitely be very careful with it because it's so triggering. And if you feel like you're overwhelmed after reading the first few bits, I think it's like the first chapter, it just jumps right in, then definitely don't feel bad for DNFing, because that book was a lot. Okay, my next book is a memoir. I don't remember much about this book, but I do remember it was a memoir, and I do remember I really liked it. I rated it 4 stars. It's called Inside Out and Back Again. I really like this book. It is a middle grade book, I believe. Like, middle schoolers can read this book. It is about an immigrant family, Vietnam, I believe. They came from Vietnam during the war, and it's sad. It is really sad. But it's also like, I don't know, I can really resonate with immigrant type stories. I didn't migrate here myself. My parents did. My parents did migrate here, obviously for a better life, which a lot of immigrants do. They come here to try to fulfill a better. In this story, you know, if there's a war going on, they need to leave for safety reasons, and they kind of have to leave abruptly. And it's a story written by a girl. The author, she writes it in like if she was a girl, and you're reading it through a kind of like a child's eyes of how she moved here, and then you do kind of get a little bit of her adapting to the States and all the things that she had to deal with, and all the racism that was kind of thrown onto her that she had never experienced before. So it honestly, I really liked it. Like I said, I rated it 4 stars. I do recommend to everyone. I think kids and adults will learn so much from this story. There is a second part, and I am on Libby's waiting list to get that. So my library has a lot of people trying to get it. So just so you... Okie dokie, next book is From Blood and Ash. You probably heard of it. You've probably heard people raving about it. You probably have wanted to start it yourself, or have started it yourself, or have read it yourself. So let me know down below what you think about this book, and let me tell you what I think. I rated it 4 stars. I started this book. I'm not a fantasy person. Let me just start that right off the bat. But the smut in this book, not my vibe. I used to really like smutty type books. Not anymore, really. I kind of don't really like it once it gets smutty. Like, it's one thing if, you know, you're like building up to it and you finally do it, you're like, oh my god, yes, they did it. But then when it turns into we're doing it all the time and this is all I can think about when I see this person, that gets a little bit overwhelming and a little bit unrealistic and a little bit kind of just really cringy, honestly. I said a little bit, but it's really cringy and I am not a fan. Started reading the second book. I DNF'd it. I do want to pick it up later. So I'm not saying I'm giving up on the series, period. Because I really did like the premise of the story. Aside from the smut, like, I think the storyline was really good. So if you're like a smutty lover and like a good storyline behind it, kind of like action-y type story, then you should definitely pick this book up. And you might love the series. For me, it was just a little too smutty, a little bit too much, and I did like it. Like, I'm not saying I don't like it. It's just, maybe at this time of my life, I'm not ready for it yet. And I feel like I might like it later on. Also, I feel like I would have really liked this in my early 20s. Like, I would have loved. So, that's enough said. Now, we are heading into my 5-star reads. I'm so excited to talk about these. I am going to start with Christine Lauren, Exception to the Rule, I believe. I will pop it up somewhere. This book was these two people in, I believe one is in high school, one's in college, or they're both in high school. I don't know. One accidentally emails the other, and it's on Valentine's Day. They think that they are emailing a teacher, but they actually did a typo and sent it to another student. So the student replies and is like, hey, I think you have a typo. You sent this to me and you meant to send it to them. I just wanted to let you know, because you need to, I think it was like they were turning some form in or something important. So then the person was like, thank you, happy Valentine's Day. So then it turned into every Valentine's Day they would email each other happy Valentine's Day and kind of just recap their year and what they're doing, and they just kind of live their life and then just recap it, and you're just kind of reading the recap until it gets to a point where you kind of start learning a little bit more about them through, I think it's first person written. I don't remember. I read it a while ago, but I loved it. I believe it's free on Prime Reads if you have the Prime reading, so you can read it on there, and I believe that's where I got it. It's really easy to read. It's really short. It was 180 pages or something. It was super fast read, and it's also written in email form, so you can just fly through it. I really liked it. It wasn't smutty, and it was really cute, and it's just romantic. I really liked it. Obviously, I think we all know how these stories end. So if you need something just that brings you joy and brings you happiness, this one definitely did it for me. Okay, this next book, loved it. 5-star reads. I cannot recommend this book enough. I want to reread it, but I'm giving it some time to so I can reread it and feel really into the story again. It's called Better Than the Movies. I am driving currently, but not really, because it's kind of in a parking lot in a line. This book, fantastic. It is about, I'm so excited, I don't even know how to start. It is a enemies to lovers, bad boy next door, high school love type book, and it's fantastic. It's not smutty, it's super cute, it's super lovey-dovey. Basically it's about a girl who's obsessed with rom-coms and romance movies in general. Her mom was also obsessed with rom-com chick flick type movies, and her mom had passed away, so this is how she feels closer to her mom, which I love. That the girl treats her life like a rom-com movie. So this guy moves back into town that she used to hang out with when she was a kid, and she's like, oh my god, he is so perfect, he fits into the perfect little box of my rom-com life. And she's like, I want him to be mine, basically. And so then her and her neighbor, who have this rivalry and just They fight over a parking spot that is in front of their house. So they live next door to each other, and then whoever doesn't get that parking spot has to park kind of far, and they like around the corner, and they have to walk. So like they always have this kind of like rivalry between each other. And also like he growing up, he was kind of like one of those boys that's kind of more on the adventurous type teasing side, and so that's why she was like, I don't like him, he like ruins my vibe. And like the dislikeness between them feels extremely real. Obviously she's like trying to get this guy, and he is kind of like friends with him, like they hang out in the same little group of friends. So then they in turn for this parking spot, they kind of start working together for her to try to get this guy to like fall for her. And he, like, just the way that they just kind of start working with each other and the little tension they have, oh my god, it's so good. And if you really enjoy cheesy, like very lovey-dovey, just something that will just warm your heart and make you feel good and make you feel happy, I highly recommend this book. Like, oh my god, it's probably one of my favorite books this year, most likely. And it's on my favorite book list. Like, I loved it, and I am so excited to reread it in a few years, because in a few months, because I'm definitely gonna reread this probably before the end of the year, because I enjoyed it so much. Like, I read it on Kindle, and I'm gonna get the physical copy. Next book and final book is Jay Shetty's Think Like a Monk. My coworker recommended this book, and she was like, it's amazing. She was raving about it. She was like, you're gonna love it. I got my husband hooked on it, and he loves it. It's so eye-opening. It's so great. And so I was like, okay, let me listen to the audiobook. I think this is the only audiobook that I honestly have listened to solely just on audiobook. Oh my god, I need the physical book. It was 5 stars. It's amazing. Like, the whole time that I was listening to this book, I was like, I need to highlight that. I need to highlight that. I need to highlight that. So I highly recommend the physical book, but if you are just not a reader like that, I so recommend you listen to this book. His voice is just amazing. Like, it's so soothing, and it's like not annoying, and it's great. And he has an accent, British accent, so it's so good. It's the way that he explains monk training and monk practices, that's the word I was really looking for, and the way that you can apply it to real life, and the way you can apply it to just real scenarios and that anyone can really go through and live through, I think is just exceptional, and it's amazing. And he did such a good job, and like, it's no wonder it's like one of the #1 books for self-help and self-discovery. And like, it has a little bit of religion in it. Obviously, he is talking about how he became a monk and the things that he learned and the practices and everything, but it's not really pushing a religion, because I know that does make some people kind of uncomfortable. It's something that makes me a little bit uncomfortable when I'm reading a self-help book and they're just kind of pushing their own religion onto me. I think it was so lovely done, and it didn't come off as very pushy, and I learned so many things. I've applied a few things in my life, and that have helped me through such dark times. And it's just a wonderful book. Like, I cannot recommend this book enough, and I think that's also why I saved it for last, because it's just that amazing. I so highly recommend it to everyone. Please check it out. If you're watching this, like, get on that waiting list at the library. Go see if you can find it at a thrift store. I'm getting the physical copy because I need to read it and highlight it and take notes. But whatever way you can consume this book, consume it. And he has a podcast, which I've only listened to 1 episode on, because I listen to a million podcasts. But even the podcast is amazing, and I highly recommend it. It's so good. There's no other way to say it. It's just so good. All right, well, I basically did this whole video in my car. I didn't think I was going to, but I've been waiting for like almost an hour. So thank you so much if you made it to the end of this video. please like, subscribe, write down book suggestions, write down your opinions on any of these books that I've talked about, because I love to hear other people's perspective on books. And then also sometimes that opens my eyes to like other things that I missed in the book. If you like this mid-year check-in on the books that I've read, like this video and like subscribe, because I will definitely be making some more videos about the books that I am currently reading and moving into reading, and my TBRs and all that, because I miss talking about books. I just miss it. So thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely day. Stay cool if you're living through heat waves. All right, bye.